So I was thinking about paths or pathways, which can be likened to choices in a sense. And I was just remembering how when I'm making choices or when I'm looking at different path options for my life, they're influenced by many different factors, including family, people I know, their thoughts on that particular path. They're influenced by anything I can look up, any research I can do, and this will influence whether or not I decide to go down a particular path, and also whether or not I stay on that path or whether I drop it. So my understanding of paths or choices is that every single path or choice that you can cognize or that you can imagine, that you can think of, that you can contemplate or understand or be aware of, any and every path is open to you, and you are free to go for any path, always. So every moment, all paths that you are aware of are free to you. Every single one. Of course, you can't go down a path that you are not aware of, but there's no restrictions, so to speak. Now, another thing that came to my mind while I was thinking of paths is that many times when we're considering a path, we change our mind because of whatever, because somebody said something, because someone else who was on that path maybe hit a nerve in a bad way in us, and so we apply generalization to the path based off of that one reference, bad reference to the path, which may or may not have anything to do with what will happen to us when we go on it. But we're pretty irrational creatures, and as all of the sellers, all of the salespeople know, humans, the logic is there to justify emotional decisions for most of us. So if we want to buy something, we make the buying decision based on it feeling right, much more so than crunching numbers and looking at statistics and research and things like that. So our decision-making process is heavily affected by emotions. Now, something to be aware of in when contemplating paths or life choices or things like that for your own life, something to be aware of is that you might think, oh well, how can this person affect me and get me to change my mind about a certain path or a certain choice. And the way to kind of get around that is just to be aware that if all paths are open to you that you are aware of, then also all paths are open to everybody else, including paths that involve discouraging another person from going down a path. So they are completely free to discourage you on any path based on their experience. And then it keeps going on, you know. At that point, you're free to take their judgment on the path and reject it. You don't have to listen to it. You don't have to pay attention to it. It's all levels of fear that restrict us from doing things versus absence of fear. With the more absence of fear, the more choices you have available to you. So that's really all for now. I just wanted to share my thoughts on paths. There's also paths going on in the coding bootcamp I'm learning about. Your computer system is built of a bunch of paths. Everything, like there's a giant folder that contains everything, or your hard drive basically, and then there's subfolders and subfolders and subfolders. So it's a network of paths, and our minds work in a very similar way, but on a much more complex level than computers, and much quicker. Our minds are calculating paths instantly, making judgment calls instantly and subconsciously. Yeah, so that's about it. Hope you enjoyed watching the rainfall, and take care. I will see you in the next one.